This video is brought to you by Australian Transport News, Owner Driver, Deals on Wheels and newtrucksearch.com.au.
G'day, welcome back to Truck TV Australia. I'm Gary Worrell. Well, today we've got a double treat for you. We're here at Renault and they've given us not one but two of their Kangoo light commercial vehicles. We've got the diesel, that's the white one, dressed up in the Red Bull war paint. It actually did time at the Australian Grand Prix down in Melbourne as a support vehicle. And then we've got, what else could we call it? Bumblebee. I don't know if it's a transformer in disguise, but this is the 1.6 litre petrol, complete with automatic transmission. Well, let's have a look and see what makes them the same, and also what makes them different. The Australian version of the Kangoo gets a 3 metre load space, that's 3 cubic metres. As we can see, that's a heck of a lot of space. It's got a 1.8 metre roof height, so even tall guys like me, we're not going to bang our head on the roof as we're throwing the boxes in. You saw us before, loading up some of these ones, getting ready to go out on a trip. It's a good, usable space. There's only one sliding door on this car, but apparently Renault tells me the 2011 production that's on its way here right now will actually have 2 sliding doors. Now, as we can see, Renault's put a lot of information all at the driver's control. It's very hard to see when you're driving, but it's very intuitive. What we have amongst other things are wipers, volume control, your radio control. You can actually turn your telephone on from here. The cruise control is up on the steering wheel, but the one thing I'm not very impressed with is the positioning of the cruise control buttons. Now they're down here, that's to turn it on and off, and also the adjustment for the headlights. Bulky switches for the air conditioning, easy to use, easy to find. Radio may be a little bit fiddly, but controls are up on the steering wheel. Generally, it's not too bad. Biggest problem, the handbrake. Great piece of design, but really a little bit too low, especially for hill starts. Like most modern commercial vehicles, but particularly in the light commercials, the driver's daily checks are piece of cake. Everything is very bright yellow. They're the only things you need to look at, and in fact they're the only things you're allowed to touch. So, checking the oil, if we need to add a little bit, washer and radiator. All done. How long did that take us? 30 seconds? The driving dynamics of the Renault are pretty good, but there is one little problem. Hear that squeak? The brakes are terrific, and honestly, aside from that squeak, the gear shift mechanism, it's beautiful and light. The clutch, so easy to use. This is a car or a van, whichever way you like to look at it, because it is based on a passenger vehicle. It's very simple to live with. The big difference between the two Kangoos, of course, is that the yellow one we're in now, it's the 1.6 litre petrol automatic. Now it's got 78 kilowatts and 148 newton metres of torque, compared to the diesel, 63 kilowatts and 200 newton metres out of its 1.5 litre engine. But the auto, you might be forgiven for thinking that especially in a 1.6 it would lose something around town. Trust me, it absolutely doesn't. A lot of work's obviously gone into getting the ratios right, and it really does take virtually nothing away from the engine. You can pull away from a set of traffic lights. You don't feel as though you've got to push your foot through the floor. It just provides plenty of power, and best of all, it does have a manual mode, so you can kick it across, and it's just like driving a manual car. It will do the downshifts all for you. It will change when you want to the gear that you want, and it will hold it there. Very, very impressive way that this gearbox works. So there we have it, folks. The Renault Kangoo in diesel and petrol. We've tried them both. Okay, most couriers, they're probably going to choose the diesel, but there was nothing wrong with the petrol, especially with that automatic transmission. So really, choose for yourself. Anyway, this is Truck TV Australia. I'm Gary Worrell. We'll see you next time.
This video is brought to you by Australian Transport News, Owner Driver, Deals on Wheels and newtrucksearch.com.au.